hearty welcome to one and all. We are glad you answered the friendly call. With spirits high and a greeting true, it's wonderful to be here with you. As nature plants a tiny seed to grow a mighty tree, we gather here to build the strength of who we are meant to be. Just like the forest spreads its reach through soil and sun and rain, we cultivate our influence to break through every chain. From roots of quiet confidence to branches bold and wide, we find the voice that's lived within no longer cast aside. To start this growth and clear the path for all we'll do today, I call this meeting to its start in my special rhyming way. Now, to start our session and keep our spirit high, I'll pass the torch to someone on whom we all rely. Let's welcome the leader of our crew. Vicky, we are ready, and the floor belongs to you.
How better could we start a meeting than with Tamara Evans, SAA? Anyway, that sets the tone for our meeting because SAA role can be considered a minimal role, but it's like a party. She makes us ready, and we are now ready to begin. And what I'd like to do, I don't have any other remarks, but because I'd like to welcome our guest publicly. And I'm going across my screen, so you'll have a chance to say hello. And let's start with you, Cheryl. Where are you from? And are you a Toastmaster?
Hi, I'm Cheryl Latson from Peachtree Corners, Georgia. I am a Toastmaster. I'm in in the District 14 area, and we're getting ready to transition into District 213. I hold the office of VP of membership, and we make Smedley.
Oh, Dr. Gwendolyn, did you hear that? We got Smedley envy, Cheryl. We're getting there. I'm going to call on you to say where we are, Gwendolyn, in a minute. Walter Clark, welcome back. Welcome to, well, we've been talking for so long, I feel like you're coming back, but can you say a few words? And you're not on screen and you're muted. Okay, I'm going to give you a minute. I'm moving to Gigi. Gigi, tell us about yourself.
Hello, my name is Gigi, and this is my first experience with Toastmasters. I had actually never heard about what it was before I met my husband, who then connected me with the amazing Sandra Trabosh. So, yes, that's why I'm here. I'm just checking it out.
Thank you, Gigi. Welcome.
Thank
Elena,
you.
welcome. Where are you from and how long have you been in Toastmasters?
Thank you, Vicky. My name is Elena, and I was a Toastmaster member at some point in my life about 20 years ago.
Wow.
When I was just a new recent immigrant to Canada and was trying to learn to speak English. 20 years passed, I'm still here. I'm trying to find a group of people that to support my continuous learning. And I would like to improve my impromptu speaking abilities because it's when I prepare it, I'm doing better. When I'm not, then I'm not doing that great. So here I am.
Well, we welcome you, Elena, and if our club brings you value, we'd love to have you as a member. So thank you.
Thank you.
And now Elaine Royal.
Hi. Hello and hello to all, and a special hello to those who are here for the first time. My name is Elaine Royal. I'm a member of Sky Masters here in Arlington, Texas, but many people may know me as a 2025 World Champion of Public Speaking finalist from last year. So I'm so excited to be here with you guys today because evaluation is what makes a great speech. So
thank you, Elaine. Well, today I'm speaking about my TEDx experience, and I think you will relate to their process and those who go through the process and those who don't. So thank you for being here today. Now I'd like to call on Patrick. Welcome back. Tell us a little bit about yourself, especially to our guests who don't know you.
Hello, everyone. I'm a longtime Toastmaster based in District 1, where Masters of Evaluation is. Little helpful Toastmaster geography lesson that is in Southern California. And I returned today because I received a friendly email invitation and I wanted to honor that. And so here I am. Nice to meet you all and looking forward to a good meeting.
We honor you. And who is our table topics master today? John White. Man, you have many guests to call on if you'd like. I think that's David Thompson. So I'm not going to call on him, but Michelle Haas, can you come on screen and say hello? There you are. Welcome.
Good morning. I have been a Toastmaster for, I should say, around 3 years. We are moving from California to Idaho, so I'm looking for a new club, and it's really great to be here this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Walter, last call. Can you come online and say hello? Or we'll just see you later. This is his third Toastmaster meeting of the morning, and he's in California. I warned him. No, I didn't warn him. I said, hey, if you fall asleep, you get a pass, because he's already been to 3 Toastmasters meetings this morning. There you are, Walter. You're back. I thought you might have slipped off into sleepy land.
No, I got a long distance phone call I had to take.
Okay, well, welcome, and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yes, as I was saying, my name is Walter Clark. As you can see, I'm the VP elect for my club this new Toastmasters year. I've been to 3 Toastmasters meeting today just for giggles and fun. I'm looking to see how other people do things. And I like traveling with my Zoom internet thing. So I've been to Hungary as well as Japan in different clubs. And I'm going to spend some time with you. Oh, I see faces that I recognize. I recognize Patrick from somewhere I've been. And who else do I recognize? Anybody else?
Well, by the end of this meeting, you're going to know all of us.
But all right, yes, that's pretty much about me. I just decided to drop in and listen and have a little fun this morning.
Well, you are so welcome, Walter. Thank you. And now I would like to turn our meeting over to our distinguished Toastmaster, John Graham, who will lead us through this meeting. John, floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Vicki. And boy, we have quite a few guests today. That's a great thing. Well, I'm going to open with another opening, in addition to Tamara's. I can't top hers. But today is World Environment Day. And around the globe, people are focusing on how to protect and improve the environments in which we live. At Masters of Evaluation, we do something similar. We create an environment where speakers can flourish. Just as a tree needs sunlight, water, and good soil, speakers need encouragement, insight, and constructive feedback. Today, let's be the gardeners of growth, offering evaluations that help every speaker grow a little taller, a little stronger, and a little more confident. Remember, the quality of our evaluations determines the quality of the learning environment. Now I'd like to call up our general evaluator to give us a run through of our functionaries. Oh no, I guess I do that, don't I? Okay. All right, so let's see, Victoria, you're our Zoom master, is that correct? Are you there?
Yes, John.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
Yes, good morning, everyone. As your Zoom master, my goal is to keep our virtual meeting running smoothly. To that end, I have a couple of reminders. Please mute your microphone unless you're speaking. This is going to minimize background noise for the people who are speaking. As for the video, we love to see your faces. Please keep your video on. If you don't want to be recorded, you can turn the video off. For the views, I recommend speaker view during the prepared speeches and gallery view during table topics. Back to you, Toastmaster John.
Thank you, Victoria. All right, now I'd like to call up Pat Caslin, DTM, and he's our general evaluator today. Pat, can you tell us what you're doing?
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be introducing the evaluators, just making sure that we've got the times correct. Whoever's timer, would you put yourself into the put yourself on the top screen so you can be seen, top left-hand corner. And I'm going to then comment on the evaluations in terms of did they add value to the speakers so that when they speak the next time, that they give their audience a better experience than they gave them this time. That's the purpose of evaluation, is to tell you what you did right and to give you suggestions for how you can do better. And then I will also ask the speakers, did they get value from the evaluations? Because that, I think, is an important part of the speaker's understanding or the evaluator's understanding that they gave value. And then I will give an evaluation of the meeting, what I thought of the different elements of the meeting. And I will try and do that faster than I did this.
Thank you, Pat. Venice, you're awarded today a grammarian and awe counter. Can you tell us what you're going to be doing today? Are you here?
No, I don't see Venice.
Ah, is there anyone who would be available to volunteer for those roles?
I'm happy to be grammarian.
Okay.
David Thompson is happy to be the grammarian.
David Thompson, is that right?
Yeah, David Thompson.
Okay, David, your picture's a little blurry.
Well, that's because I'm listening so hard.
Okay, all right. So can you be awarded today grammarian and awe counter all at once?
Grammarian and word counter. Grammarian and word counter, that's fine. Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to do then?
Right, okay. I shall look at my role in 4 ways, really. Firstly is the word of the day, and the word of the day is auspicious.
Auspicious.
Auspicious. Can anyone tell me what auspicious is? What does it mean and how do you spell it? Is anyone bright enough to use such a British word or know its meaning and how it's...
That's so easy. Even Pat Caslin could answer that. Pat, go ahead, do it for us, would you please?
I'll tell you where that story comes from. Auspicious is something that is of, let me see, how would you describe it? As something that is recognized as being of value and import. AUSPICIOUS, I think. Would that get some of the meaning of it, David? It might be even a little bit more clear, but it's something that is standout and noticed and important and of value.
Indeed it is, and we are all, or will be, I hope, very auspicious. I will accept the negative version, inauspicious, but I think that's clumsy and really hardly ever used, certainly in Britain, maybe in the States, maybe in Canada, but let's see. And certainly I will accept auspiciously. It's a bit clumsy, but have a go at auspiciously if you can't find a way of using auspicious. The second aspect I will be looking at is fine, beautiful, vivid, really strong language that really expresses in words and phrases draws the attention to a particular aspect of what you're going to say. And I shall also, as third aspect, be looking at the opposite, where you or I, because I shall look on my language, is clumsy and dull and boring, and you really don't want to hear it anymore. So do look out for any language that is in that state and try to make it more auspicious. So avoid the third aspect, the poor, sloppy, dull language. And finally, what certainly in Britain we'd call the waste language. It could be the trash can language, the excessive use of and and so. We all use them. Let's try and reduce them to as few as ever. Okay, so I shall be exercising my listening throughout. Do try and produce something auspicious that I can particularly enjoy listening to. Okay, away you go.
Well, thank you, David. Now I'd like to call up our auspicious timer, Jack Kaminsky. Could you tell us what you're going to be doing today?
Yes, as the auspicious timer of the day, my job is to monitor time during the prepared speeches, table topics, and evaluations. For prepared speeches that are 5 to 7 minutes in length, at 5 minutes, I will show the green background. At 6 minutes, the yellow background. And at 7 minutes, you have 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. For table topics, at 1 minute, we'd like everyone to speak for at least 1 minute. So at 1 minute, the green background, 1.5 minutes, the yellow, and at 2 minutes, the red. And again, 30 seconds more, wrap up your speech. And finally, for the evaluations, we have 2 to 3 minutes. So at 2 minutes, we have green. At 2.5, we have yellow. And at 3 minutes, we have red. 30 seconds again, wrap it up. So back to you, Mr. Toastmaster, auspicious Toastmaster.
Yes, and Jack, you were very good as our auspicious timer. Now I'd like to bring up, I think, Sandra Savage. You're going to be our evaluator one. Can you give us an introduction of our first speaker?
I would love to. And
wait a minute, are we shifting the order of our speakers?
I'm the evaluator for Kathy Choice. She is here.
Okay, good. All right. So Sandra, please give us your introduction.
Well, she provided me a fantastic introduction, starting with a quote. You can be the ripest, juiciest peach in the world, and there's still going to be somebody who hates peaches. Auspiciously, she has titled her speech, I Don't Need You. And this is for Visionary Communications Level 1, Introduction to Body Language and Vocal Variety. Again, her speech is, well, I'm going to remember the peaches, but she wants to talk about I don't need you. Kathy. You're on mute, Kathy.
Thank you. Every single one of us has experienced pushback, be that if we are projecting it out or if we're receiving it back to us. Some of that pushback can look like someone standing up straight and squaring their shoulders or crossing their arms. They may even be shaking their head. And let me not forget, there could also be a hard eye roll followed by a But you can't even begin to imagine me receiving that after someone asked me if I would help them update their LinkedIn profile and their resume. But this was after I said to them, well, you know what? Maybe we should use AI to help you with that. This came to me from my friend that I've known since I was 4 years old. We ended up deciding on meeting at her place. When I got there, she tells me, oh, the internet is down. I'm thinking, you know what, that's not a really big deal. So I asked her, you know what, why don't you connect your hotspot on your phone to your laptop? Why did she look at me like I just asked her to perform neonatal neurosurgery? But what I also realized was that she did not know if she had a hotspot on her phone. And if she did have one, she didn't know how to connect it to her laptop. Of course, there's got to be a workaround. So I say, you know what? Why don't you call your mobile provider and have them help you with this? She's got an iPhone. I'm not even going to try and figure that out. Yes, I'm an Android user. She calls her provider, and there's a message saying, oh, you're going to be on hold for 30 minutes. By the time we got to 45 minutes, my suggestion was, you know what, let's just go to the store. It's right down the street. We gather our things, we go to the store. When we get there, there's no one in the store. The rep is getting ready to help her. She hands over her phone. Now it's about an hour and she's still been on hold. So she finally hangs up. The rep looks at the phone. She can't figure out what's wrong with it either. She tells her, you're going to have to go to the Apple store. About a week later, I call my friend and I'm like, you know, are you ready for us to move forward with this for me to help you? I go back over to her place. The internet is up. She sits down. I sit down. She starts working on her resume. She's asking me questions here and there. I'm answering some questions. Other questions, I'm saying to her, you know what? Maybe you should run that through AI. She gives me a little side eye. She doesn't really want to do it, but I really don't care. So she starts using AI on different things instead of asking all these questions to me. By the time she finishes her resume, she's like, oh, I didn't know that AI could do all of that to help me. I'm thinking, well, why do you think I even said anything to you about using it? What I learned, or what was reinforced to me, was that when someone is resistant to something, we don't have to just give everything to them. Sometimes sitting in silence with them is a really big teacher, because that silence allows that person to work through things within their own heads, the thing that they have been resistant to. They're able to figure it out. What happened with my friend was that she ended up learning how to start using the technology for herself. She started figuring out how to prompt, how to ask it whatever she needed to ask it. She started getting better with all of that. She started building confidence in her ability with being uncomfortable with using a technology she had been resistant to. One of the things that we had not done was worked on her LinkedIn profile. So I call her back, ask, do you want me to help or come over and help you with your LinkedIn profile? Now, mind you, like I said, this is my friend since I was 4 years old. Her response to me was, I don't need you. I've got this figured out. And all I could say to that was, yeah, right. Until the next time you need me. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Mr. Toastmaster, that's 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Jack. Now I'd like to call up, who is our third evaluator? That's going to be Ray Sweeney. Could you please introduce our third speaker, Ray?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Our next auspicious speaker will be continuing from the Visionary Communication Pathway. Level 3, develop a communication plan, 5 to 7 minutes. The title is My Casitas in Aruba. Let me tell you a little bit about our speaker. Trudy, this is a personal plan to establish a vocation home on her personal property in Aruba. The local company in Aruba assisted in guiding her in the logistics of importing prefabricated homes from the Netherlands. The hope is to have a secured personal space to frequent several times of the year during the year as a nice escape spot from the colder days in Canada. Trudy needed to be prepared to follow the guidelines of Canada and Aruba in transferring funds to Aruba and to document all the reasons for transferring funds. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to learn something highly auspicious. I give you my casitas in Aruba, Mintrude Charles Young, my casitas in Aruba.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'll do my best. Today is World Environmental Day, and our theme is Grow Your Influence. I have to set it up so I can see the timer. Just a second. I want to see the timer because I'm pulled forward. Could you put me on gallery, please? Yeah. Today is World Environmental Day, and our theme today is Grow Your Influence. When I think of environmental impact, I often think of massive global initiative. Today, I want to share a deeply personal project that taught me how sustainability and teamwork can bring a lifelong dream to life. For years and years, I dreamt of having a vacation home in Aruba. Living in Canada, I wanted a warm escape from our brutal winters. You see me shaving here? But traveling to Aruba is incredibly expensive. Nobody can afford that every year like that, especially now. I wanted something permanent, but also sustainable. How I'm going to do this. That's when I discovered the Canadian concept of bunkie. Anybody knows about the bunkie houses? Some of you probably do. That's a small prefabricated wooden house used for extra guest space or a weekend getaway. It's used a lot in North America. I encountered it, I stayed in it, and I thought, this is great. I'd love to have something back. I realized a tiny bunkie style casita would be perfect for Aruba. It's a desert ecosystem, so it would be just fine. It will sit there nicely. It has a low carbon footprint compared to the traditional concrete homes that we usually build in Aruba. and it's highly adaptable. The logistics, however, were daunting. Didn't know where to start, how to try, etc. Shipping a prefab home from Toronto, I can do that, but almost impossible to get it done properly because nobody on the other side could help me. My major win happened last June when I visited home. I connected with a company in Aruba that would source prefabricated wooden casitas directly from Holland, where I studied, and would ship them straight to my property upon arrival. That was wonderful. The manager of that company in Aruba became a vital part of my team. He ensured that all international documentation was flawless, and that's important, otherwise you get scrapped. But my most important asset wasn't having the money, it was the language. Being originally from the island, I speak Dutch, Papiamento, and English. So 3 languages we speak across the board, making it very easy to communicate. The next point is speaking the language instantly transforms you to an outsider who gets charged in US dollars into an insider built on trust. And that's important. Through this trust, I grew my local team, navigating international banks for construction funds required absolute transparency on both sides, Canada and Aruba. Canada, they ask you a lot of questions. In Aruba, you have to specify directly who is going to pick up the money and where it's going and what for. Same as Canada, but less severe. On the ground, I engaged local contractors who were excited to build ecosystem houses from the prefab to put it together. I truly honor, along with that, the spirit of World Environmental Day here. I'll tell you why. It's not exactly today, but last year I discovered that I can also partner with the agriculture department to register the land as a small hobby farm. That was very, very important because with the two together, having the land and having the houses put together and making it an environmental space to plant and be able to have somebody use the product, it was very, very, very important. Since I live in Canada, I found a brilliant local partner, a semi-retired resident who will use the land as a hobby garden to cultivate local tropical fruit trees. And it had to be local tropical fruit trees because it's so warm, the ecosystem is so bad, it has to be able to survive and produce income for the person. That person gets a peaceful sanctuary to grow local flora, the trees, and I get a trusted steward to care for the ecosystem while I'm away. So they care for my land. I don't have to have it rented out. The person is there, I can go back and spend grand holiday. There are risks in doing that, of course. Wooden homes face higher insurance rates on the island, but with a right team, treatment, and smart mitigation, the structural risks are incredibly low because we have very little fires of wooden homes on the island. This project proved to me that we all can build our own piece of paradise. How beautiful. You don't have to do it alone. If you are willing to put in the effort, speak the language of collaboration, trust yourself, you can influence a whole world of partners to grow something truly sustainable and auspicious. Back to you.
You got a minute there.
Mr. Toastmaster,
John.
yes, time is up.
Thank you very much, Jack. Could you give us our timer report on our speeches, please?
The auspicious speakers did a wonderful job. Kathy's speech was 6 minutes and 5 seconds. Vicky's speech was 6 minutes and 45 seconds. And Trudy's speech was 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Everyone was in the 5 to 7 minutes. Excellent job.
Thank you, Jack. Now I'd like to call up John White for our table topics and snap evaluations. So John, we're running short on time, but please take it away.
All right, thank you for that. I just want to add one thing that the timer mentioned on the timing. Table topics is 1 to 2 minutes, but one of the things we do here, one of the auspicious events that maybe many reflect on what distinguishes MOE is we have snap evaluations. That's right, Cheryl, an evaluation of the evaluation. Okay, Cheryl, wrap your head around that. Elaine, what that means is after someone's done a table topic, we're going to say, what's your snap evaluation of that? That's no more than 1 minute. And please focus on an impression and a suggestion. And of course, we're all seasoned Toastmasters, so you don't have to retell the story. Gigi, not to single you out, but I think you're the only non-Toastmaster. Would you like to participate, or would you like to watch and do it next time, or watch and then give me the thumbs up later on as you become comfortable with the notion? Where are you with this?
I think I'll watch for now, and then maybe we'll see if either I do it next time or maybe I jump in.
Okay, great. Let us know. All right. So as we all know, this is World Environmental Day. I'm from California, so this is going to be about the birds, the bees, the trees, and carbon imprint. My first question. A Native American proverb says, we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. Victoria James, what does that mean to you?
Oh, thank you for the question. I love this quote. I spent some time in middle school, first year of high school, actually, with a Native American tribe called the Lakota Sioux. And I could talk for days about that experience. But what struck me when I came among this amazing group of people in their homeland is the seriousness that they take everything in their environment is spiritual. They treat the plains, and they have these rocky formations called the Badlands, and they see their ancestors in these rocky formations. I like to imagine once in a while, back in the real world, the white world, that, colloquially we talk often about having stolen this land. The damage that's done and the pain that it causes to these people, I'm sure I can't possibly imagine it. So I love this quote because I do have children, and they are going to inherit this earth. And it's a way of attaching their love, which comes so naturally to them, their respect that I felt the moment I got out of the vehicle and into their space, that seriousness and that love, because I love my children more than anything in the world, and I want them to flourish after I'm gone. Thank you for the question, John. Back to you.
Thank you for the answer. I wish I could snap you, but I can't. My role prohibits it. Kristen can provide a snap evaluation, though.
I'm so glad I got to be your evaluator, Victoria, because that was a beautiful table topic response. I was very impressed that you had a personal connection, both you talked personally both about your children and also your experience with a Native American tribe. You were emotional, but not overly emotional. It was personal, but you also expanded the lens as well to talk more generally about larger themes. And you gave the specific example of the ancestors in the Rocky Formations, which to me, the example, you could have talked about how their connection, the native connection with nature is integral to their society, but by giving the example spoke that whole paragraphs. And I love the correction of real world and white world. That got me thinking immediately how what we think of as the real world is really this very distorted perception. So all in all, it was beautifully done. And yeah, I think in the future, if you were to have prepared this, it would have been just to have a very clear beginning, middle, and ending. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We go from the Native American to the Council of Animals. I don't know if you knew this, they meet periodically. And you're now standing before the Council of Animals. You've been elected to represent humanity at a global council hosted by the Animal Kingdom. What's your opening defense? You don't have 5 to 7 like you did on the big stage. This is 1 to 2. Elaine Royal.
Thank you, John. Animals, we are gathered here today in front of you all. As a human being to the animal kingdom, we would like to stand in solidarity with you as allies. We didn't always get it right on our side of the land, building things, industrializing forest, gathering things out of the ocean and the seas. We did not realize the error of our ways. We deeply would like to apologize to you for taking advantage of those resources. And as a representative of the human race, I would deeply like to ask for your forgiveness if we could just build a better world for us all to be together. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Elaine. Representing the Council of Animals, we've huddled and we've picked as our representative Mr. Clark. Walter, what do you say to that?
I knew you were going to pick me for this.
You're welcome.
I think that the emotional gestures made it a very powerful presentation, specifically on the short notice for what it is. As a recommendation for improvement, we could add something about looking forward to being vegan to help them understand that we would do better as we try to integrate in our world and actually do as animals do, thereby taking and using only what we need to survive versus all the industrialization and growth. So those would be the 2 areas I would try to approach that from. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much. As I said, we're in California and we are now talking to trees. Imagine you wake up tomorrow and you can suddenly talk to the oldest tree in the neighborhood. What do you think it would say to you? Well, this man hails from the other coast. He has that Cali vibe. Jack Kaminsky. What are the trees talking about?
Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters and future Toastmasters of MoE. There is a tree in my neighborhood not far away from where I live. This tree is huge, wide. I'd like to compare it to one of the redwoods on your coast, but it hasn't been here that long. It was here when the Native Americans were. And this tree talks to me. It says, "Hello, Jack." It says, "I've been here for many, many, many generations. I have seen the Indians, the Lenape Indians here. I've had seen the settlers, the Dutch, the English come. I have seen so much, and I would want to share this with you, and I will. I need you to come and visit me daily if possible, and I will tell you stories about the history of the area. And I want you to know that I am not the only tree here. There are others, and we talk to each other. So please, please come back and see me many, many times in the future. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you. If I could just add an editorial comment. They say men can't multitask. Did you just respond to a table topic and time yourself? I know you could provide a snap evaluation, but that's illegal in California. She's a redwood amongst regular trees. She stands above them all. Dr. Gwynn, were you touched by this communication with the tree?
Thank you, John. And yes, I was. Jack, I really appreciate the fact that you brought the tree to life. I also appreciated that you had a call to action from the tree. Come visit me. Come visit me daily if you can. That to me was beautiful. And you took me to a place, a resident place, an auspicious place in my world. The very first time that I stood up to minister, to preach, I preached to the trees in the meadow. So for me, yes, this was beautiful, bringing it to life. What I would have liked to have seen from you with the tree is gestures, gestures for the tree. And as you're talking to the tree and make it more conversational back and forth. So that would seal in, you understood what the tree wanted from you. But excellent, excellent speech. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you very much. Sometimes we have to take a contrarian position, not because we believe it, but we've been asked to do it. So this person is about to respond to something I asked them to do. This does not reflect his or her personal world view. Imagine you're standing in a room of passionate environmentalists, Sierra Club, I mean, the whole thing. Your challenge is to convincingly argue against caring for the nature. After all we heard about the trees and the Native Americans, you're that dude. You go in there and you say, the hell with the environment. Not many men could do it. Patrick, verbally show them how it's done.
Thank you for assembling here today so I could talk to you briefly. What has the environment ever done for us? Now, I probably just raised a lot of hackles in the room. I am, however, being a little bit facetious in asking that question. I do, though, want to talk about societies moving forward, and there are things we need to meet those demands as we dream and grow and hopefully, ideally, work towards our full potential collectively as humankind. That's going to require some collaboration and some sacrifices, and that will probably have some kind of impact on the environment. Unfortunately, there's only so much room here on this earth, and we need to dedicate some time to doing these new things that are going to propel us forward, whether that be to the moon, to the stars, to Mars, to the galaxy and beyond. I almost said infinity and beyond. Who knows, though, right? Who knows how far we can go as a species in our development, in our progression, if we don't try. And to try, we're going to have to make some changes to the way we do things, which could mean considering environmental things as we build. We need to build more things. We need more room for people and housing and so forth to achieve all these lofty, auspicious goals. Thank you for your time today. I'm here. You can ask me questions after the presentation today. Back to you, Mr. Topics Master.
And I've been private chatted. No, we cannot provide Patrick his telephone number or his physical address where he lives. That is private. She asked for 1 hour to retort, but I can give you a minute. Gail, what do you have to say about that?
Oh, please. Honestly, if you believe that we actually have an impact on what's going on, stop it. Just stop it. We are little tiny ants on the side of an anthill on this side of a very large sandbar on the edge of an ocean. We don't matter. Mama Gaia's got everything wrapped up for her, and she'll take care of that. We just need to take care of ourselves and stay out of the way when her feet come down. Be careful what you sow, because you will reap it. I don't know, John. That's just what came to mind, because, yeah, it's early in the morning and it's a Friday, and I'm at Masters of Evaluation, which I've been meaning to come to for a while. So I thank you for the question. I have no idea what the word of today is, and I have no idea whether I've made the minimum time or not.
Auspicious is the word of the day.
Fabulous, because it is an auspicious day. Make sure that when you step out, make sure that when you step out, you turn your phone off and you hold your head high, because you never know where you're headed. Thanks, John.
I know we're running late, but I was a slightly negative prompt the last question. So just one more. If you were given absolute power to pass one environmental law that every person on earth would have to follow, you're God, you can do it. No pressure, because you are goddess. Michelle Haas, what would you do? You're welcome, Michelle. I see that surprise. Unmute, please. Thank you.
This is a fantastic question. The environment is so important, and definitely something that we're going to be handing down to our children. Something that is made to last, but will it? We have seen certain species of animals become extinct. How many more would become extinct? But the real question is not what your government can do for you. Isn't there a famous quote about that? Not what your government can do for you, but no, wait, something like that. Anyways, what can you do for the environment, for the things that we're going to leave to our children? I recently moved from California, and one of the initiatives that was passed recently had to do with bags from the grocery store. They discontinued any plastic bags in the grocery store to now paper bags only. And if that is not a deterrent for you, you have to purchase them. And I believe they are still 10 cents for each grocery bag every time you go. If that is true, and bags will definitely save the environment, why not make this a whole national initiative? Could we buy bags that would only be used again and again? The type of bags that you would leave in your car and continue to use again and again. It seems to be some type of initiative that I don't have a full understanding of. But doesn't it seem like a good idea on some kind of level, though very inconvenient, very auspicious towards the future of the environment and how that could work together? Maybe I need further research on this kind of topic, but one step in the right direction could be grocery bags. Thank you.
Nice. We speak of auspicious beginnings, but I don't think I've recalled such an auspicious ending. What a powerful ending. Elena, were you moved by this? Elena? Yeah.
I guess it's me, right?
Yeah, for a minute. What your response to Michelle's? Your snap response.
Thank you. Michelle, I quite enjoy your very specific response to the question. because you could have chosen different ways to address this, but you concentrated the effort on something that is tangible, achievable, and could have been implemented for all because there's a precedent. So, and I agree with John that it is a very powerful engine. Take one step at a time because it's going to help everybody to get there sooner. I'll do one and then we'll find another way to improve the environmental outcome.
Beautiful. Well, that ends table topics. We are running a little late, so Mr. Timer, if you might provide the timing results in the chat. And it is my pleasure to turn it back to our Toastmaster of the day, Mr. Graham.
Thank you, Mr. White. What I'd like to do now is bring up Pat Caslin as our general evaluator to take us through the results of our meeting so far and the evaluations of the speeches. Thank you, Pat. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. Before I get too far, I'm going to ask you, because Ray told me that I sound like Darth Vader with a cold, and I'm wondering if I turn off.
You're off, Pat. You're off. We can't hear you.
Then I shall continue as Darth Vader with a cold, and my apologies for that. So my role is I'm going to first, can we get the timings of the speech? No, we're going to have those in the chat, but keep going, and that's good. And may I call on the evaluators, please, to give their evaluation. Sandra, would you like to evaluate Kathy's speech, please?
Definitely. And if Vicky or Victoria could pin myself and Kathy side by side, that would be great. By the way, you had me with having that quote, Kathy, about not everybody wants a peach. And I loved it. And it was a good way to begin your speech. And you are the master at the side eye. I thought my Rottweiler had an exclusive on that, but you did really good eye gestures, which is something I've never noticed in a speaker before. But you even mentioned the eye roll, and you gave us the shrug. I mean, you've got attitude. What did I write down here at one point? Kathy's got attitude, and you used it well in your speech today about it. A conversation, interaction, frustration with a friend who wanted help but didn't want help. And you just dove right into your speech. You didn't say thank you, blah, blah, blah. You dove right into the story, standing up, and you had, as I mentioned, the quote and the intros. Where I started losing a little bit was when I noticed you got super excited. You started doing symmetrical hands, or as I call them, the Nancy Pelosi chop. Only when you got excited. During the normal part of your speaking back and forth, you weren't synchronized. But when you got excited, you did. But you had great hand gestures. And I don't know if any of you have ever evaluated a speech in another language. I felt as if I didn't understand English. From her gestures, I would have gotten enough of the gist of what she was talking. I saw frustration, I saw hopefulness, cajoling, things like that going on. So you had good gestures with your hands, especially, and your face, a very expressive face. But I want to ask you what the purpose of the speech was. I mean, I understood the story. She wanted help, but then she didn't want help. Did I miss the ending line that told the moral of the story? I may have, but I didn't catch that. And so I would recommend that you maybe drive the point, emphasize it at the end. Patience is just like a sweet peach. It's better if you let it ripen. I don't know. I just made that up. But have a purpose for the speech. And I'd love to hear your feedback if I missed that. That's why I wanted the both of us to be on the conversation.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Very good evaluation and great to hear suggestions that will help the speaker improve. Kathy, what value did you get from that?
Well, I'd like to address Sandra's question, the purpose of the speech, which is how I was sitting there with her in silence, that sometimes people need silence. They don't need for you to do the job for them. Because in that silence, it allows them to process the information within their own head and come to peace and understanding and learn through that silence as they're working through the information.
Awesome. I like it. I like it. Thank you.
Super. Thank you. I'm going to keep going because I think we're under pressure. Our final evaluator is Ray Sweeney. Would you like to evaluate Trudy for us, please?
Thank you, Pat. I will indeed. Trudy, I love the way you were poised with your presentation for World Environment Day. How topical. I also love the way you shared a personal story. Before I start, the three key pillars to public speaking are ethos, credibility, pathos, emotion, and logos, logic. Now, you showed us ethos, credibility from the moment you started speaking. You showed us logic throughout the journey, and emotion I will come back to a little later. I'd also like to share what I liked and loved and how we can improve on this speech. You opened with years of dreaming about this project, and you used some humor about how cold it can be in Canada. Brrr. Great facial expressions. You were very animated on screen. You explained about the Buckley houses and the casitas, and that made it clear to the audience. You also told us how it was a low carbon footprint, the logistics of doing this work, and it was first-hand experience, very interesting. We took a lot of information, and it was like a little window into what's going on in your life. Excellently well prepared. You shared that you did this in 3 languages, and we take our hat off to you for that. Chapeau. Our takeaways were, we learned something we would never normally hear about, and a first-hand experience. And number 2, to trust in your team, the influence surrounding them, and to grow sustainability. They were our key takeaways. Now, how do we take a presentation like this and elevate it to even greater heights? Well, a couple of recommendations, if I may. The first one, very small, housekeeping. If you're going to sort out the timing, do so before you start speaking. Secondly, as I came back, pathos, emotion. What I'd like to have had from you was what it meant to you and why. This project. Take us on that emotional shift, the highs and the lows. How did you feel when everything wasn't going to plan? Or how did you feel emotionally when everything was going right? If I may, to summarize, thank you for this in-depth sharing, which has obviously been so well researched and lived through personal experience. I'm sure all the audience would agree. It gives us a window to Aruba, as I'm sure not many of us have even heard about or know about. So just to recap, points to work on, the timing, arrange that beforehand, the emotional shift, what it meant to you and why. In conclusion, Trudy, I have seen you grow into a Trudy or suspicious speaker. Continue to shine. Back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evaluator. Before I comment on the evaluation, Trudy, what value did you take from it?
The value I took from it was the very first thing he said, that I should be prepared to make sure that I see the timing. I did, but I was brought forward and I had to get back in. So I had to stop so that I could indeed see the timing. I was fully aware of that. Yes, the other part where I could have given a little more in depth of other aspect, but there wasn't enough space there to do that. The troubling part that I encountered. I encountered better good parts than the troubling parts in doing a project like this from far away. And I use WhatsApp as my part of my line of communication. And that's really something, you know. Didn't have to pay for that, but it was the line of communication on both ends of the scale. I was in Aruba once, and then from then on, I executed the project with both sides of the countries, Canada and Aruba. And I'm getting there, so I'm very happy about that.
Super. Yeah, I know my feedback on Ray's evaluations. Ray, you deliver your evaluations with some animation, with some thought, and they are always helpful. They're always it's a function of careful listening. It's a function of getting involved in the speech. I thought it was an excellent evaluation, and I thought your suggestions were on point. So congratulations. This is what this club does. Follow Mr. Sweeney for how to evaluate and evaluate well. I'll give my general evaluation, my quick general evaluation of the meeting. So the meeting started with the introduction and the welcome, what sort of club we are and what do we do in welcoming the guests. And I thought that is something that a lot of clubs don't do particularly well. We do it phenomenally well and give a lot of time for that. A lot of guests today, so it took us a bit of time, but worth doing. I thought our Toastmasters opening, explaining the value of the meeting and why this is a club that does evaluations and the importance of those was really superb. I loved the quote, "Today's evaluations are tomorrow's excellent." Tomorrow's excellence, and the lovely gentle handling of the meeting, John. So yes, well done on that. Topics, oh my God. The quality of the topics really determines the quality of the opportunity to respond to them. John White, you knocked the lights out today. They were consistent in terms of theme, they were challenging, and your selection of people who weren't already on the agenda was superb. And many of the responses or the evaluations of those topics gave recommendations, and the evaluations engaged really well with the speaker and the topic. I thought that they were superb. Tommy, well done, Jack. Thank you for putting those thoughts into, or the times into the chat. Very, very good. This is, I think, I come here from 5 o'clock on a Friday from Ireland, to hear what goes on at this club, because I do think it is always top class. And two small things just to finish with. The quote I think that you were struggling with, Michelle, was from John F. Kennedy, which was ask not what you can do for your country, but ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. I want to go back to John White's asking me to answer the topics, or the word auspicious, and tell the story of Max Planck, who had his driver, having driven him across the States and listened to his speech so many times, and the driver said to him, "Do you mind if I do this once?" And he gave his presentation word for word until he was asked a very difficult question. He said, "That's so straightforward. I'm going to ask my driver." Was Max Planck sitting in the audience. That's where that comes from, John. So, David, I'm going to hand the meeting back to our president.
Thank you so much, Pat. Very well done. David, it was auspicious that you jumped in, and it is inauspicious that you can't give us feedback, but we're going to keep moving. So here's what we have left to do. I'm going to ask our guests what value the meeting took for you, one idea. And then we're going to all send all our guests to a waiting room to meet with Trudy and answer any questions you may have about membership. So, Walter, you're first on my screen. What value did our meeting bring? The fourth meeting of the day, I might add. What value? You got anything left in the tank?
I did actually think about this SNAP evaluations for table topics. It's something I think I'm going to try as the VPE in my club this next Toastmaster year. And second, just as a reminder for all of us experienced Toastmasters, the timer can hit that raise hand button in the react section on the heart, and that will pin them to the very top of the screen so that everybody can see the time, because I lost track of the time as well when it moved away from where I positioned it.
And you know what happens, Walter? Jack was always pinning himself. The minute he starts talking, he loses his pin, and we didn't all realize that. So he's pinned a number of times, and then he would end up in the general gallery, and then I'd see him pin again. But if you talk,
not the pin, the actual this one here where you put your hand up.
That's
like
what
I
he
just
did.
did.
Isn't that what you did, Jack? But if Jack starts talking, he loses a pin.
Yeah, I know the pin disappeared. I don't think the hand does.
Huh. Okay.
It may, but I don't know. It doesn't in our Zoom. It might just be a different format based on the version of Zoom as well. So something to think about.
Walter, you're here to teach us too. Miss Gigi, first meeting, what overwhelmed you, or what was like, holy cannoli, I don't know if I can do this?
Excuse the background noise. Overall, I think that the speeches were superb, but I think what I took away most from it is just how supportive the environment is, where people can take that constructive criticism and people are able to support each other with their speeches. I feel like that's wonderful to see. So it's just a very welcoming environment, and I think that's absolutely great to see.
Thank you, Gigi. So your husband was wise to send you here, you're saying?
Absolutely.
Remind him of that tonight at dinner. He'd love that. Okay. Elaine, what value did we bring for you today? As a very senior Toastmaster.
My goodness, what value you guys bring. I'm just going to be honest. I typically don't get this, I don't know, invigorate through a Zoom meeting for Toastmasters. I truly don't. But everything that you guys did today was brilliant. This is a high functioning advanced club. I loved how you guys ran the meetings. I love the structure of your meetings. And I'm sorry for my biased comment, but John, you were like my favorite human being today. Okay. So I took a lot of values. I'll be taking some of this stuff back to Sky Masters. Thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you so much for having me here today. Thank you.
John, I'll give you a moment to respond, as I know you do.
Sometimes it's best just to receive and say nothing. I'm touched.
Thank you, John. Michelle, what value did we bring for you today?
Thank you for having me today. I think this meeting is true to its title, Masters of Evaluation, because there was evaluation all over the place. It was fun to watch responses to table topic. I normally don't hear responses. I take them in and oh, that's nice, and then you just kind of keep going. But to have responses was really great. I usually shy away from being picked on, but I was okay with being picked on a little bit today, and that's good, and kind of brought me forward. He's got some great personality going on here, as is with the rest of the group. So love the energy, love the support, love how the meeting went, and it was really great. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. And Gail Rosenthal, I know you had to join late. You missed my great speech, I'll call it that. In the hour you were here, what value did we bring?
In the hour that I was here, thank goodness I can compress time to 3 minutes. As expected, I love this group. Everybody is on point. Everybody stays on point, and everybody comes playing full out. And I miss that in a lot of Toastmasters clubs. If I could just bottle that and sell it, you know?
Why don't you just join? Just join. Come on.
I know, write the check. I've heard it before, Vic.
And you know what? By the way, anyone who's interested in joining, it's only $40 now because of the month we're in. So easy lift, easy lift. Okay. Are we going to send our guests to awaiting Sandra Savage while we fill the agenda for the next meeting?
Yes.
Wait, yes.
We have a breakout room called
Oh,
Welcome.
let me ask Patrick. Patrick, thank you. You're here so often. I'm sorry. I don't mean to think of you as a member, but it's with affection. What value do we bring for you today?
Thank you, Madam President. Great meeting, great speakers, of course, great table topics led by the incomparable John White. And so I got in addition to value from all of that, I got the extra added value of playing contrarian and answering a question from probably the least popular, least desirable side of things. So that was a little fun to take on that challenge. So thank you for the opportunity and thank you for having me today.
Patrick, I was going to say, I was busy, but if I could have evaluated your table topic, you entered that room open and clear and kind. And I think you could have held your own at the Sierra Club meeting. I loved what you had. I was going to come in and say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry what we're doing. You didn't apologize. You really added to the conversation. So thank you.